Okay, I think it started.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So I have the the directions here, and it says that first we need each, or well, both of us need to take about 5 to 10 minutes each addressing the following questions.
Okay.
The first one says briefly share some points of your interview. Well, don't disclose the names, but talk about who you talked to, their children or child, and what you found out, etc. So, do you want to do this point by point, or do you want to just go through the bullet points and then I talk and then you'll talk the full 10 minutes or whatever?
I think let's go to everything.
Okay. Cool.
So you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I can start. I'll start.
Okay.
Cool. So let me keep this open. Let me get my notes open. So, so like I told you before this started, I talked to one of my friends from high school. A little bit about him is that he's not married. He lives with his girlfriend, and they live at her parents' house. And they have 2 children, and the boy is 5 years old, and the girl is turning 4 pretty soon, in a couple months. So I asked him basically the questions. I guess a summary of what he told me was that his son started like walking and teething and doing all that kind of stuff. To his knowledge, it was around a normal time, according to like his son's pediatrician and to his parents and stuff. And so when his daughter came along, his daughter was a little bit faster with everything. She rolled over within the first like 7 weeks. She was sitting upright faster. She was crawling faster than her son, and she started walking by the time she was around like 9 months, whereas his son was more like 11 months, I believe. So when it came to like the motor skills, she was kind of a lot faster than his son. But he said when it came to talking and whatever, the son was much better and much more, I guess, he enunciated more. He had more, I guess, proper pronunciation. He could say things pretty easily. He didn't really have trouble with like, I guess, like learning the ABCs and stuff. Like he could pronounce each letter perfectly for the most part. And he said his daughter was different. And one of the experiences he said, like when she was around 2 years old, she couldn't say M with just her lips. She would stick out her tongue instead and close her lips around her tongue and say M. And so so it made it really hard, like when she would try to like say sentences or ask for things, like the little things like that would, I guess, interrupt her speech. And so he said that they had to sit down with her and work with her a little longer and put more time into helping her say words correctly. And they did that kind of like through reading books and just doing the normal toddler education kind of stuff. And then, sorry.
That's
and then
fine.
like I started asking him about like potty training and all the other stuff, and he said like it was really easy for the most part. His son was easier than his daughter. They did it around the time they were 3. They tried teaching his daughter a little earlier, but she kind of didn't get it until she was around 3, around the same age his son was when he potty trained his son. But it took his son only like about a week or 2 to get him fully potty trained. But he said his girlfriend did that, so he doesn't really know the details behind that.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah. And so I asked him about if he had any experiences with children with disabilities and stuff. He said he doesn't have any affiliation with children anymore. He said the last time he ever did was like back when we were in high school, and there's the special ed classes. And he said that. So I asked him like how he felt, I guess, when he would see them around campus and whatever, and he said, he said he remembers one of them, and I remember him too. He was a really, really big kid. He was like over 6 feet tall. He was maybe like 300 pounds. And he used to like slap all the doors really hard. And he used to run and slap lockers. And he would just laugh whenever he did that. And he told me that it was always awkward. And he said, even though, I like this line, he said, even though I was the normally developed child, it was more intimidating looking at that boy than looking at a normal person. And then he told me a story about like, I guess kind of why like he doesn't like to look at kids with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that his auntie was in McDonald's one time, and she was smiling at this kid, and she didn't know what he had, but it was clear that he had special needs. And she ended up kind of staring at him because she kind of like pitied him and was just thinking about like how, like, poor thing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling sorry for him and stuff. And about 5 minutes later, apparently the kid stood up and spit his food all over her face.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, and the guy that was working with the kid was like all embarrassed, like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she's like, it's okay. And she didn't realize until later that maybe it was because she was staring at him or looking at him too long, and it made him feel uncomfortable. So that was the way he had to act out, you know, to get her to stop, because he couldn't communicate it. So I guess she told him, my friend, that story. And he said, like, ever since then, he doesn't ever want to look in their face and stuff because he's afraid they're going to, like, beat him up or, like, spit on him or, like, slap him or something. And then I asked him the last question, which was basically, like, did he ever have any concern over somebody with disabilities or not? And he just said no. He never really had to deal with another person with that. So that was pretty short and sweet. For me, while I was interviewing him, I understood a lot of what he said, especially when it came to the kids with disabilities, and especially, well, with children in general, because I have my own. And it says, what is my sense of normal? I think it's hard, because for me, I work with kids with disabilities every day. I work in one of those classrooms. And so to me, it seems more normal that people do have some sort of affiliation with at least one child with disabilities. It seems so common nowadays, even if it's something like ADHD or something not so severe, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, my sense of normal is like, yeah, I feel
Maybe
like
able to do kind of normal things.
Sorry.
Maybe kind of be able to do normal things. We can say that is normal.
Yeah, like I feel like it's normal to be around them, and like I help, like what I do as a job is like I help them learn daily things, whether it's like washing dishes or, you know, doing laundry, brushing their
Yeah.
teeth, whatever. And
They are
um,
under
I just
sorry, they are under 18 years old or older.
the children I work with,
Yes.
they range from 14 to 22 years old.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and so um, and yeah, and they all like they vary like drastically. Like one person is super severe while another person is pretty high functioning but still severe.
Yeah.
One person can do certain things and another cannot. It's kind of just like normal people, but it's just like on a more dramatic scale.
Yeah.
And so like as I work with these kids, I kind of know like how hard it is for parents to deal with them.
Yeah.
And some of them, like I feel bad because you can tell the parents are just so burnt out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of them aren't. They have real supportive parents who like do everything for them and who are very on top of their development as much as they can be. And so,
And it's nice to have the parent support, because I also work with people with development disabilities, but they
uh,
are 18 and older. But most of these people that I work, they live in with home providers. They don't live actually with parents, because most of them has been abusive, or you know, the people who are work, most of them has been kind of foster kids when they were kids.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
that's true too.
yeah, and it's and I can see them. They have a lot of strength too. Like today, I work with a guy who is 26 years old, and he's a musician. He knows a lot of music, and he has
Oh,
like a kind instrument with him to play in the car, and he's doing so great. So for me, normal could be maybe do be able to do the um, daily things that they cannot do it by themselves. But actually, I
yeah,
just say some of them are more able to do more things, and others are less able to do that. But I can see that a lot of them have strengths, a lot of things that they can do very good, and things that they cannot do very good as we do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Caitlin just messaged me.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you saw it. Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. They're yeah, they are very incredible. Like even
Yeah.
though they have a disability, they definitely have their strengths, and it seems like their strengths are just that much higher than
Yeah.
people give them credit for.
Yeah, it's true. Well, do you want me to start with my interview?
Yes.
Okay. So I asked a sister from my ward. I attend to a Spanish speaking ward, and so I asked her if she can help me with the homework that I have, and she will agree with that. And then because she has three children, And the oldest one has autism. That's correct, huh?
Okay.
And also has age. Um, let me see in my notes. He has autism and ADHD, and he has another condition, but she didn't remember what was it. So she told me that she noticed that his son has difficult to walk when he was a baby, and she started wondering because she saw the other children at the same age, they already walk, but his son, he couldn't do it. Also, she saw delays on language. She said his child started to talk maybe by when he was at 2 years old, and now he's 10 years old. But she said they live in Mexico and they just moved to Denver like 1 year ago because they couldn't find help in Mexico. She said they take him to the school, but they take like a regular school, but the school really wasn't helping him at all because most of the child has been making fun of him. So it was hard for them, for the parents, to do that. So they decided to move here to Denver, to Colorado. And as soon as they get here, they put him in the school, and the school sent people to them to help them, to teach them how to teach the child how to go to the restroom, to clean his hands, and teach them that if he is hungry, he can make a sandwich, how to do a sandwich. And she said now he is more self-reliant than he was before. And they were so happy. They were so happy with the kid. But she's wondering, and the husband too, she told me that what is gonna be the future for the child if something happened to them. And I just shared with her that I work with the people with disabilities and how they don't have, most of them, they don't have a parents to take care of them, and how the government take care of these childs. But I say to her that is most our Heavenly Father who take care of the children's, and more with people with disabilities. So, well, I just say you should not worry because you are in a good place right now. He is learning a lot of things, how to be self-reliant, and I think you're gonna be doing good. And yeah, that was my interview mostly.
Nice.
And for me, what I think the normal, that's as we said, maybe is you be able to do like normal things, like be able to go to work by yourself, so you can feed by yourself. This can be kind of normal for us, and for them it's kind of hard to do those daily things. But if you
Yep.
teach them, they learn to do that, I think. And I see it in my work. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um, one of the kids I work with, he has like a really hard time washing dishes, or like I was really surprised when I first started working with him, like how he didn't know how to wash his hands correctly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was at first I was like, what? Like this is something you should have learned when you were 2 years old. Like
Yeah.
as soon as you're like learning how to use a bathroom by yourself, because he can use a bathroom by himself, he just doesn't know how to wash his hands, and I was really surprised. And so, yeah, the sense of normal is like so it varies so much between different people. But I mean, now he can wash his hands. I still have to be there next to him and sometimes remind him, like, use the soap. The soap is there for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
And
I
it's
see, like, when people.
yes, how they learn, as you say, they learn to wash the hands. Something that is easy for us, but not for them, right? So, but they are very similar to us. But what I notice in my clients is that they want to be same, like normal people. They want to be normal. So they they want to be able to and act like normal. Like I know this, I know how to do this, and yeah, they are so great people. So
Yeah, and you can't blame them for, they see how other people are being treated because they're normal,
yes, yes,
and they want the same treatment. But sometimes I guess, like, people just naturally, it's like when somebody foreign comes to, your town, and in all the movies you see the person going, "How are you?"
yeah,
And it's just like, speaking slower doesn't help anything.
yeah,
But
yeah,
so it's kind of like that, where, like, they don't want you to treat them like they're different or they're incapable or inferior. They just want to
yeah,
be treated normally.
yes. They want to be treated normally, and it's great. So maybe there can be a sense for them what is normal, be treated like a normal, right? For them, it's important to be treated like a normal people, and they are a normal people. They just have a disabilities, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have different temper, too. Some are more smiley people, some like my sour, some are difficult, yeah, and some of them
Yeah.
are so sweet. So depends on the temper too. So
Yeah, that's very true.
yeah.
I remember my first client I worked with. I didn't know anything about him. It was my first client. I just got the job,
Uh-huh.
and, like, I go into my first day. He's like, he's nonverbal, and so I didn't know that. So I was, like, expecting answers from him,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm talking to him, asking him questions, and he's just quiet, and I'm just like, oh. And then the teacher had to tell me, oh yeah, he's nonverbal. And
Oh.
then the guy I was training with, him and another guy in the classroom would butt heads all the time. And so throughout the day, the kid, and he's on the older side. He's over 18, and he would pick up the tables and slam them down. And by the end of the day, he would, like, spit on me, and I'm just like, dude, I didn't do anything.
Oh,
Like, it's them two that are arguing, and,
wow.
like, and the kid I'm working with now, he's like an angel compared to the other boy.
Yeah.
But I have, like, a deeper relationship with the other boy because, like, just behavioral struggles I guess we went through together, and being able to overcome that, so we have a mutual respect for each other.
That's
And
nice. That's nice.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, and now another person works with him, and so I will step in once in a while, and I see how he's doing and whatnot, um, and help her get along with him as well. So, but yeah, it's just funny how you brought that up. Like, some are this way, and another one is
Yeah.
another. And it's
Opposite. Yes, and yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of, well, we are learning too from them.
yes, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right. So And the last part said, did you get a sense that parents were uncomfortable or had a sense of denial, shame, embarrassment? Uh, this sister, what I interviewed, they accept the child and they are agreed to deal with him the long term until they can do it. And I think that is amazing for them because, as you said, it's hard to be parents of the child that you know that will need you forever, right? So it's
Yeah,
hard. It's really hard.
that's really good.
Yeah, it's good because some parents don't do that. It's that, and that's when they give up, and then the child's ended up in the foster house or something like that. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, my friend didn't have any experience, so when we talk
yeah,
about this, I kind of just have to rely on my own. But I I worry so much for the children with disabilities because, like, in my I guess in my situation, it might be similar in yours. I assume it is, but a lot of parents look at school for them as more of a daycare,
yeah,
as their way to be like take a breath of fresh air and like get not necessarily get away from the child, but just take a break from them. And so when I hear that parents accept the long term, you know,
yeah,
or plan to take care of them, it's like it's really nice because it just shows that they're there with their child for the right reasons. You know, they're. Um, I worry.
yeah, and I think that make a big difference in the child's too because they know they can feel that the parents will support them all the time. So they have
Yeah,
a different attitude. So it's great for them to know also that they are accepted because some of the clients that I work with, one of them just told me, "Oh, my mom told me that she didn't even know if I'm his son. That she wanna do a DNA," and he asked me, "Do you think that's possible?" And I say, "No. Well, she's the mother. You are the child. How's she gonna say she's not sure about it? Maybe a father can
yeah,
say that, but not a mother." And he told me, "You see how my mother is?" And I said, "Well, yeah, but don't get frustrated for that. Maybe she's, um, I know the mother is alcoholic and uses drugs." And I said, "Well, your mom is now aware of what she's saying, so don't take it like, yeah, because those kind of things harm them a lot, a lot." So it's a
yeah,
great deal when parents accept the child's. And as you said, in your, I was just in your post about intelligence, that you said at least we
uh-huh.
have to accept it when they don't have some strength. And I said, yeah, that's true. So at least we need to accept that our kids don't have mm, some some skills. So at least we need to accept it. We
Yeah,
couldn't change it. At least we can accept it. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I when we had a that PowerPoint presentation last week,
Uh huh.
and the video. I really like that video about the social skills and the problem children with social skills problems,
Uh huh.
and that kind of is where that came from because I was like, like there's sometimes I struggle at work, man. I'm just like, because I want them to excel, I want them to do good, and
Yeah.
like it's like, man, we've been working on this for so long, how come? And it's like after watching that video, I was just like, wow, you know, like some kids just have to deal with it. Some of them just they forget. I think that was the one that I wrote down was some kids forget. They forget all the time, so they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And I just think of my client, and I'm like, this is him. He forgets all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just me accepting it. And I realized, like, after watching that last week, I was like, it's been so much easier to be patient with him because it's just like, it's okay, you know? And
Yeah.
now I can actually focus on just, okay, let's just get past this part. You know how to do this part, so let's just get past this together. Instead of expecting him and waiting for him to do his thing, you know?
Yeah, it's great.
Just help him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
so that's kind of where that came from. You just got to accept it.
Yeah, that's good. That was
And
good.
you got to teach the kids. You got to teach the kids because to me, it's like they struggle so much with the comparison of the other kids around them.
Yeah.
For instance, my client is a triplet,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the only one with the problems.
Wow.
And yeah, amazing. And so he sees he sees his brothers, and he knows his brothers are normal. They have friends, they have, you know, all the things that normal kids do, but for him, he struggles, and he sees them walking around school, but he has to be in this different classroom. You know, his parents talk to them differently, and he struggles with that. And like, to me, it's like I'm trying to help him just accept it, you know, like it's okay, you know. And it's really hard because they want the same things. And
Yeah.
so, and I can't, like I said before, you can't blame them for wanting that. It's just
Yeah.
trying to find that, yeah, way to help them.
Wow. Wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
The only brothers are okay, and only him is hard. Yeah, really hard. It's hard to accept it. I have one client who is very sweet, and sometimes I ask him what you did yesterday, for example, and he say, "I don't know. I have a brain damage." And I was really, yeah, I cannot remember. I have a brain damage, so I don't know. I said, cool. But he very often just say that, and I say, well, yeah, maybe I'm the dumb for us that. Yeah, but they're amazing. Yeah.
Wow. That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. So what else we need to do?
Yeah, I was just about to look at that. So it says, so we got about 15 minutes left. So I guess we can go to this. It says, in the last 15 minutes, take turns addressing to the following question. What can you learn from this experience about normative variation, maturational delay, transient disorders, and persistent impairments? Did you see any themes or patterns occurring in your discussion and findings about your respective interview? So I guess this is the summary part, what we basically...
What I think is what we can see from your interview is like your friends, you see the patterns, at what time the child's walk and talk. Maybe have a little difference in the son and the daughter, but it wasn't too much. Maybe weeks of difference. But in my case, the sister said that his son started speech talk until 2 years old. So it's a big difference, right? So when child's maybe delay like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe it's normal. Because actually, I don't know if, I guess I have been reading like girls and boys develop in different paces. So maybe it has too much to do with maybe girls learn to speak faster than boys, and boys can do more physical things more early, like walk than girls, something like that. But when you see delays and these things and these milestones, you can be start worry about the child development, I think.
Yeah. It made me think of like, because it's normal for autistic people or children, I guess, to speak a lot later. And I remember watching a video at work where the girl, she started talking normally, and then around 2 years old, I think, she went back, and then she like lost all her ability to talk.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was really weird because like I didn't think that happened. I thought if it's just a continuous thing, but
Yeah.
this like she totally regressed, and
Wow.
and so like I was just thinking like, even though it's a pattern for autistic children to learn how to speak or do certain things later, like I guess like there's some situations where they're like
Different,
it's
right?
just like it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, maybe
And what you,
when kids are diagnosed with one thing, they used to have like a three things. And some of them same autism and ADHD, and another have autism and I don't know how to pronounce those her names, but different things. So maybe that's what make different. I'm not sure.
yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's so hard to just, I guess, judge how any of this can relate to each other because they're all so different.
Yeah, they are so different. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I when I think about like my friend and stuff and like how he was talking about his kids, like I kind of had the similar things as him when it came to my kids. My kids aren't diagnosed with anything; they're all pretty normal for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, like my like it was kind of similar as to where my son talks better than my daughter does,
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter started walking faster. It was actually really similar, but it wasn't like by 2 months. It was just like a couple of
Yeah.
weeks or whatever. But like I'm just thinking like there's so many, like we compare our kids to so many things.
Yeah.
And like I have a brand new baby. She's 4 months old, and
Oh.
I remember when she was born. She was born in July, and my wife was like on, she was on Facebook and doing her thing throughout the first month, and she came up to me and she was like, "Look at so and so's baby. They're already turning over, and they were born 2 weeks after our daughter." And I was just like, "Holy smokes!" Like.
Yeah.
Uh, and then like all of a sudden we're just like, our daughter's not normal, but well, so to speak, that's how people react. Like, why
Yeah.
is my son taking so long? Why is my daughter taking so long? And my wife was like that. She was like, "Why is she taking so long?" I'm like, "Don't even worry about it. Like,
Yeah.
she's gonna roll over. They all learn how to roll over."
Yeah.
Like, no, but and I'm just like, and I'm like fortunate I took these classes because now it's like, oh,
Yeah,
don't
for
worry, it's
sure.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, like it's gonna happen. There's actually like a 2 month span grace period. They can learn to do all this stuff. And so, like, he said, in fact, my friend said the same thing. Like, he said his son was the gauge for his daughter. So when she started drooling a lot earlier and a lot in, like, I guess in more supply, a lot
Uh-huh.
earlier, he was just like, oh my gosh, like, what's wrong with her, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I was laughing, and he was just like, yeah, I didn't, because my son took a while to get his first tooth, but my daughter did it so fast. And I was just like, you know, at first I was like, what in the world? Like, do we need to take her to, why is she drooling so much? And like, I was, he's like, does she have rabies? And I was just like, oh my gosh. You
Yeah.
know, like, he's like, even though he was exaggerating, it's like, it's just funny how, like,
Yeah.
that's kind of like
And
what
I think
people
this
do.
happened to all the parents because that happened to me, but that happened like 30 years ago. So I didn't have this knowledge. So yeah, it was kind of, why he's not walking? Oh, I'm just so worried. What he's doing this? What? It's crazy. Yeah, but
Yeah, yeah,
everybody is worried about the babies. Everybody wants to have a kids to be healthy,
the
you know,
best.
because
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard for them and it's hard for the parents. It's hard for the siblings, for the whole family. So it's not an easy task, but well, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I remember with my daughter, um, oh, it was like she was doing something, and I remember being like, oh my gosh, like, is she showing signs of autism? Like, I was like, oh, like, what if she is? And like, I talked to my father-in-law, who's a behavioral health specialist, and he's like, don't even worry about it. That's all my kids were, you know?
yeah,
And like, and so like, you start thinking, I guess there's some times where like you start placing a disorder or like placing a problem on your kid, and they don't even have the problem,
yeah,
and you just
yeah,
worry so much.
yeah,
And it's just like, it makes me think about like all the parents who have children with those disabilities, and when they're babies they don't exactly know yet, and like how hard it is for them to go through that initially, you know. And I guess that's where that one question comes from, like, was there denial or shame or embarrassment, you know, like do they want people to know that their child is autistic or like
yeah, and you know,
has,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I
Um,
was pretty much done.
I just want to say that the sister who I interview, he has three sons. The older one is who has the autism. The next is a girl, and she's pretty normal. And she just got a baby, and the baby has like maybe 18 months or something like that. And the child has some delays on walking too. But she was here in USA, so the doctor as soon did that. They send people to give the child therapy and a lot of stuff, and he's doing really good. So early intervention is, yeah, really needed. So it's nice.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yep, yep,
Like, don't
and
be embarrassed, you know, like
yeah,
just take the bull by the horns and get the
yep,
help.
yeah. And maybe she was wonder. I think she didn't tell me, but I thought maybe she has the experience with the oldest son, and this happened with the new baby. So maybe she was wonder, oh, hopefully he don't have anything wrong, or you know. But the baby
Yeah.
is looking so good right now. After the got the therapy and all this stuff, he's doing really good.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Nice. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I always wonder, like, with parents or like with families that have multiple children with various disabilities,
from
like for instance, like there's a member in our church who they have, I think all their children have some type of disorder, and I
oh
think he has 4 or 5, and I'm thinking like, sheesh, how much, and
wow.
his wife has struggles too, health problems too, and so I'm just thinking like, man, imagine the stress in that family, like just everything they had to go through while those children grew up. I mean, one of them is married now.
Wow.
The other one is in college, and a couple others. So they're still younger, so they're still in the school systems and stuff. But I'm thinking like, man, like is it a pattern that like why like biologically, why is it that every single child
Because
has
they want
something?
to have some on the chromosome of the father or the mother who is doing this. I think it has to be with genes.
Yeah,
So it is hard. But well,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so we have what? We done or we have more time?
um, we have about 3 more minutes.
3 more minutes. Okay. So
I mean, we can talk for 2 minutes. Oh, here we go. I ran into this. It says in the final 2 minutes, have one group member summarize the discussion and any consensus that were reached. This summary is what your instructor will grade you on.
we already did, I
Oh,
guess, both of us.
yeah.
We already did.
Um,
So maybe
yeah.
do you want to submit the link?
Yeah, I can do that. I
Okay.
think it'll give it to me after.
Yeah.
Has to load on YouTube.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for all your help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Thank you for
yes.
coming.
Yeah.
I'm
When
glad we were able to make it the whole time.
yeah. Let's see what we need to do for the next week.
Yes, I think we have another group thing next week, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I just live day by day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
Leave next week for next week.
yeah, I have 12 credits to do in this semester.
Oh.
I have another classes, like I have a meeting yesterday and I'm doing my practicum and I have to do
Oh,
a
wow.
workshop. I just got this semester and one semester left and then I graduate finally. Yay.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried. I tried doing the 12 credit thing, and my first semester, I wouldn't sleep at night. I would be up all night thinking like, what am I doing to myself? And so ever since then, I stuck to 9 credits, but it pushed me back. Well, last semester actually, I took 6 credits
Uh-huh.
because my baby was going to be born. So it pushed me back a little bit. So I got like 3 more semesters to go. And I'm just like, oh, I'm looking at the practicum and I'm planning
Yeah.
for that and the internship. And I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, how do I do that?
It's
Kind of
hard
nerve wracking.
and for you it's hard because you have a little children. I don't have a little children anymore, so but I have to work too also. But yeah, and my husband had a stroke like a year ago, so I need to help him in some things, and take care of him, the school. But yeah, that's fine. We can do it. So, and you are young, you can take your time.
Yeah. Yeah, I figure I have the energy now, so just push through and
Yeah,
handle it.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I hope everything works out for you this semester,
yeah.
and especially next semester.
Yes,
Keep
yes.
pushing forward. You're almost done.
Yeah, I almost I have to do it. And I think it's a hard part just when you are on the top of the mountain. Well, I
Yeah.
will do it. I will do it. Okay,
Yeah,
Jerry. Thank you
exactly.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
for all
you.
your work and for everything. So maybe see you next
Thank
week.
you too.
All
Yep.
righty.
All right. I'll see. Talk to you next
Thank
week.
you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
You too.